and good evening, my fellow YouTubians. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barnun 11970, which, if anybody ever wondered why I did that, my birthday is November 9th, 1970. So there you go. That's the whole Barnun 11970 problem solved. All right. So I listen to people all the time. I'm one of the people that I will try and listen to all sides, because you will never solve anything in your life if you only look at your reflection in the mirror and just only see yourself. You have to have different ideas. You have to hear from different people, get different perspectives, for the very least to be able to confirm what you believe in. Now, there's a huge difference in life between what you believe in and what you know. Like, for example, you know who you love and you know who you don't love. I pretty much can say, if you have children, for the most part, with very few exceptions, that you love them. You don't have to believe you love them. You don't have to ask yourself that you love them. You don't have to have other people convince you to love them. You pretty much either do or you don't. So there's a lot of things in life that people take for belief as knowledge when it comes to somebody's perception. Like, certain things are true. We're alive. We have a consciousness. There is a world around us. We interact with people. These are things that we know to be true. Belief systems can always be changed. But I want to talk about how different we really are, because you see, even though people have different perspectives, even though people have different looks and thoughts and beliefs and attitudes and so on and so forth, are we really that different when we all boil it down? Because I highly recommend you reading, or at least researching, The Art of War. And one of the biggest things that is used to this day is divide and conquer. The idea behind it being, you can have a smaller army be able to defeat a larger and much larger army by simply getting that much larger army to fight amongst themselves. Not only do we see that in this country, in the United States of America Corporation, but we see it all over the world. Now, you notice all of the governments of every nation, they're all united, even though they pretend to be enemies. It's like the World Wrestling Federation. And that shows my age, because I remember back when it was called the WWF, and probably how long it's been since I've watched it. But you notice all of the governments, they all think the same way. There aren't governments that question the narrative. They propagate it. But you notice the people that they govern and control and have power over and tax, we're divided. They're not, we are. Now, I'll tell you a couple of things about myself. I believe in the right to bear arms. I believe people should have the right to defend themselves against any enemy, both foreign and domestic. But at the same time, my personal belief, and this is just my belief, is I do not believe in hunting. Now, because I don't believe in it, I cannot, nor will I, stop somebody else from having the right to do what they feel is beneficial to their life and their journey. The problem we see these days is people trying to dictate to others what they should and should not do, what they should and should not say, what they should or should not put in their bodies, so on and so forth. I take care of animals. I have a total of 15 animals, 3 that we've taken in, all 3 were strays at some point in their lives, and 12 others that we've spent our own money getting them fixed so they cannot continue to propagate and cause more problems, feed them, take care of them. So I am sure somebody on the left, if you would consider I'm not a right, a left. I'm not even a middle guy. I can change with whatever particular time my life is in, how I feel. And that's why, if you notice, if you're one of the people that have followed me for a long time, you could see the difference between how I was on my channel and how I am now. Like I said in the other video about the 10 years of being on YouTube, which is actually about 12 years, you got to grow if you want to change. If you're the same person you were 10 years ago, that's not healthy for you. Although, like I say all the time, even a bad or negative experience is still an experience. But we're not that different. We have just been controlled and forced into believing, some people, that because somebody with a suit and tie tells you something, that it automatically makes it right. Now, here's the thing about the history of the world. If we relied on the original science, we'd still be knocking people out with a hammer to operate on them. We'd still be putting bugs on them. We'd still be looking at the stars and saying that the Earth is the center of the universe. And at one point, the Earth was supposedly flat. Now, it could be. I've never left the planet far enough to be able to tell, although being conditioned can work several ways. And I've made several arguments. I'm not a flat earther and I'm not a round earther, because I cannot say with 100% certainty, by leaving the planet myself and being able to view it from above, what the shape of the planet actually is. Is it a round disc? Is it a ball? Is it somewhere in between? Is it concaved? But easily at any moment in time, people can be programmed into thinking something by just distilling that information over and over again. But if you look at us as human beings, for the most part, we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 2 arms, 2 legs. We have a heart. We have stomach. We have internal organs. We have blood flowing through us. We have water in our bodies. We have the capacity to think. And yet, look how both sides, or all sides, get taxed. Look how all sides have their freedoms taken away, to the point where I was saying to my wife the other day, when some governments are starting to give back their freedoms, I'm like, these people are going to celebrate something they already had. That they had a certain level, a bunch was taken away, then they gave a little bit back, and now you're going to applaud these people like they did you a huge favor. It's almost like somebody kidnapping you, beating you every single day, and then one day they say, well, you know, I'm not going to beat you anymore. But you're still their prisoner. You're still there against your will. You're going to thank them for not beating you anymore and not doing something they should not have done in the first place? Whether you're on the left or right, or you're centrist, whether you're gay, straight, black, white, Republican, Democrat, whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, we're all on this same planet. We all breathe the same air. We all have hearts that beat to keep us alive and take in oxygen to keep us alive. We all consume some sort of food to keep us alive. We all, if we look at it, want peace in the world. Name one person that you know in your life that started a war with someone else. And yet governments throughout the world, who are supported by the Hollywood and other people that are too afraid to stand up because God forbid you take any of their currency away from them, the media who backs them up for the very same reasons, why they are allowed to do all the things that they do that goes against all of our human nature of being human beings. It's a question people should ask more often. But we don't, because we're too busy fighting over somebody's pronoun or somebody's religion choice or somebody's political point of view. In the grand scheme of things, most people, they want to be with the ones that they love and care about. They want to live in peace, and they want everybody else to live in harmony. It's the small fringes on the both sides that cause the issues for what the majority of us want no how dissimilar are we if you boil it down to, I'm sure, for the most part, we all want our family to be safe. We love our friends and family. We love having good times. We really do care about other living beings for the most part. We do want a healthy world that we can all live in. We want a place where our children can grow up and be better people. And yet, governments throughout the world, who are all united, get us all to fight amongst ourselves because they know through emotion, which is nothing more than energy in motion, they can manipulate people by having soft topics that people get affected by and making us fight amongst ourselves. Now, when you become of a higher vibration, you learn that it is not necessary to have to engage in that way anymore. See, the people in power are so afraid of losing their power that they're doing everything to keep it. But what people don't realize, like what's going on just north of the United States of America Corporation, and I won't say the name because it'll trigger and I'll get demonetized and deflagged and all that other fun stuff, because that's what YouTube is, part of the corrupt system. But you notice that some laws are starting to be changed because people are standing up, not being violent, but they're saying enough is enough. And governments really do not have the power they lead you to believe. I hope people understand, or what I like to say, understand all of this. That we, whether you're left, right, gay, straight, black, white, whatever, whether you live in the United States or you live in England or you live in Saudi Arabia or you live in Vietnam, we're all the same type of human beings. We all really don't want to wish harm amongst each other. So why are we fighting each other and helping them to steal from all of us? Last time I checked, whether you consider it inflation or the devaluation of the currency because they are overprinting their currency and devaluing it because that's just how it works, we all have to pay higher prices for our food and water and bills. Some have an easier time of paying it back. Many don't. We all see the effects of the pumps at the gas. We're all paying higher prices. Do you think somebody like Biden or somebody from another country really gives a royal behind about the price of gas and how high it goes? You think they pay one dime? Doesn't affect them at all. But it affects all of us. I have been talking about this on my channel since I started. The only way to fix the problem is by no longer continuing to play their game. Notice I don't fight with anybody anymore. I haven't done that in years. Now, that doesn't mean I do not get nasty people leaving nasty comments and rude people making rude comments. I look at them as I feel sorry for them at this point. If you are still the same angry person as you were 5-10 years ago, then you have not grown, you will not grow, and you're just going to be stagnant, and you wonder why your world is crumbling around you. Now, I'm a prime example of, I don't have rose-colored glasses on. I'm not living with millions in my pocket and have everything go my way. I've had my share of poop being dumped all over me by the universe, to the point where it's gotten me depressed, it's gotten me angry, it's gotten me frustrated. My health is in question in certain ways. And yet, I can still come out on top of it, and I will come out on top of it, because I know ultimately I have control. And if I relinquish my control to someone else, even if they created a narrative, if I want to believe their narrative, I've taken my power to control my universe and given it to somebody else so they can shape it for themselves. No, thank you. And yet we constantly do that and wonder why we're not getting anywhere but further apart. We are all human beings. We are all on this planet. You have the right to have your own belief system. But you really, if you want to be a good human being, you really should not be forcing others into your own ideals. That's ego. If you are angry at somebody for the right to have their own mind to make up their own decision, if that angers you, Look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I so angry? What has life done to me that has made me so angry that I do not wish happiness on my fellow brothers and sisters and fellow human beings? I wish them pain and misery. What kind of human beings would wish harm and injury on anyone else? Because then you become that which you hate. It's like Frankenstein's monster. Now, when you think of Frankenstein, what do you think of? You think of the monster. But Frankenstein is not the monster. Frankenstein is the scientist who created the monster. Frankenstein is not the monster. The world is a reflection of you. If the world is not as you see it, the way you wish it to be, then what are you doing to change it? Do you think crying changes anything? Do you think being depressed changes anything? Do you think being angry changes anything? Do you think covering your ears and hiding your eyes and covering your mouth changes anything? If you want the world to change and you do nothing to change it, well, what a surprise it's not changed, especially the way you want it to. I mean, I give the media, the education departments, all around the world, the governments, I give them a lot of credit because it's pure genius how they are getting away with literal murder and lies against humanity for their own purpose of power and financial gain, and how easily they can get away with it to the point where you can research anything these days and you choose not to. Or you believe to yourself, because you don't know, you believe that you may have power, but you don't utilize it. Notice I'm not here feeling sorry for myself with my situations. I have ultimate control of it. If I give up, I lose. You cannot win a race you give up. If you participate in the race, it doesn't guarantee a win, but that depends on how you determined you are to win. Are you willing to do the extra exercises and the extra effort and get up early in the morning and eat right and do all those things and still know that you possibly may still not win? But at least you have a chance. If you crawl in your bed crying, saying, oh, this is too hard and I can't do it and it's never going to be the way I want. No, everybody else is so lucky. Well, if you crawl in bed and die, well, what did you achieve other than what you didn't want? You create your world. If your world is angry, that means you're angry. The trick is to be happy or content or at peace, even if the world is angry. It's saying, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever bounces off of you, bounces off of me, sticks onto you. You don't have to be the world. You can, because like I've said many times, even a bad experience is still an experience. You're here to learn something. Why not learn something that makes you happy? When was the last time you filled yourself with joy? And I have to ask myself that at times. There's times you can easily seek pleasure, but pleasure only lasts for that moment. It's like a drug. If you need a drug to feel happy, you're going to need more of that drug to make you continuously stay happy. And then one day you'll no longer be happy regardless, and that drug will take over your world and eventually kill you. But you can't blame the drug for something you willingly chose to take. So we can sit here and fight amongst ourselves because some people like to hunt, some people don't like to hunt. Some people believe in a God, some people don't believe in a God. Some people believe they should have sex with whoever they want. Some people feel that they should only have sex when they're married. Everybody is right. We need to respect everybody's right as long as they are not hurting others. I have said it many times. I do not agree with the gay lifestyle, but I have no right to tell somebody else how to live their life. I have friends over the years that have been gay, openly gay. I will always support them, but I do not agree with it. And that's okay. You don't have to like everything. If you love broccoli and somebody else does not love broccoli, it does not make one person better than the other. It's just a choice. Just like if you feel two men should be together and you feel a man and a woman should be together, you're both right. If two consenting adults or 5 consenting adults or 100 consenting adults all agree that something is going to happen that they feel is something they're comfortable with, who is anybody else to tell anybody else what's wrong? If there are punishments, then that is not up to you to decide. So if you're a religious person and believes, oh, God will punish them, well, you're not God, so what do you care? He who is without sin may cast the first stone. So I do have some religious beliefs, but I believe differently, and that's okay. Just like you have the right to be who you are. So until we realize, because you need real eyes to realize that we are all human beings living on the same planet, and we are all ultimately allowing it to be destroyed and stolen right from beneath us, and all we do is hold up picket signs or cry or stay in our bed or just pretend it's not happening and wonder why nothing's getting fixed. And all governments are becoming wealthier and stealing your power and stealing your currency and stealing your freedom. And you're applauding them and cheering them on and voting them in. Hello, McFly. When you're ready to change, you will. Until then, why are you complaining? Let's work together instead of dividing each other apart for somebody else's profit. I hope other people see this. And Neil Young, Florence, he made the decision to do what he did. He has the right to do it, even if we don't agree with it. But for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So he bluffed. Spotify called this bluff. I seriously doubt he did that on his own. I am sure he has handlers, like they all do, telling them what they need to do. Because if you try and silence somebody's right to have free speech, or at least be open to all alternative points of view, if you want to silence that, then one day you will be silenced. And then there will be nobody coming to save you. So Neil Young, he made a choice. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it. Even a bad experience is an experience. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.